Welcome my grade 6 dear students. Now you are watching Delta Educational Channel. Today inshallah we are going to complete what we have started. It's module 5. 5B lesson today is about amazing senses. So please open your student book page 52. The first question we are going to answer. Which parts of the body do we use to see, hear, touch, smell, and taste things? First of all, nose. We use nose to do what? Of course, we smell with our noses. What about tongue? What we do with our tongues? We taste with our tongue. What about ears? We hear with our ears. Eyes, of course, we see with our eyes. What about hands? We touch with our hands. So, how many senses we have as humans? As humans, we have 5 basic senses: touch, sight, hearing, smell, and taste. And as you know, the sensing organs associated with each senses send information to the brain to help us understand and perceive the world around us. This is what we have as humans. What about exercise 2? Check these phrases in the word list and use the verb clue to make sentences. We have the same 5 verbs: see, hear, touch, smell, and taste. I need to follow the model answer. I can see the sun shining. I can hear and feel the wind blowing. What about birds chirp? Can you put it in a sentence? What's the meaning of chirp? Chirp, to make a short high sound. I can say a sentence saying, I can hear the birds chirping. What about cat's soft fur? Cat's soft fur. Can you put it in a sentence? I can touch a cat's soft fur. What about stars? Put it in a sentence. What will you say? I can see the stars. What about the dogs bark? I can hear the dogs barking. And of course, you know the meaning of bark. It's the sound of it, to make a short loud noise once or many times. So if I put it in a sentence, I will say, I can hear the dogs barking. What about exercise 3? Exercise 3 asking you, what sense does each sentence match? The same 5 senses: smell, touch, taste, sight, and hearing. For example, number 1, if I say, this ice cream tastes delicious, which sense it is? Can you say? It's taste. What about, this snake looks scary? Which sense? It's sight. What about number 3? The cat sounds angry. Which sense? It's hearing. Number 4. Its fur feels very soft. It's touch. These roses smell great. Of course, this is the last sense we have, which is smell. What about exercise 4? Here, I'm going to listen to the senses in animals. Are they similar to us or different? Let's listen.
our five senses every day. We see the sun shining, we feel the wind blowing, we taste the apple we're eating, we hear the birds chirping, and smell the beautiful flowers around us. Animals, on the other hand, do not use all their senses. They use only the ones they need to survive, so these senses are highly developed. Some can even be qualified as superpowers. Sight. Some animals have much better vision than people. For example, an eagle can see a tiny mouse from high in the sky. Other birds, like falcons, can see their food from as far as 8 kilometers away. Other animals, though, don't need this sense so much. Take the bat, for example. It has very poor eyesight because it hunts at night and depends on its hearing to find its food. That's why we use the expression blind as a bat. Smell and taste. Many animals smell with their noses and taste with their tongues. But there are some animals that have a strange way of smelling and tasting. The butterfly tastes with its feet, and the octopus with its tentacles. The earthworm uses its whole body to taste, while the snake uses its tongue not only to taste, but also to smell everything around it. Touch. A funny animal fact about touch is that the star-nosed mole doesn't feel with its paws, but with its nose. It has about 6 times more touch receptors in its nose than we have in our hands. Cats, on the other hand, use their whiskers to feel their way around in the dark. Other animals and insects also use the hairs on their bodies as feelers, like the scorpion, the grasshopper, and the crab. Hearing. Animals like whales, elephants, dogs, dolphins, pigeons, and bats have much better hearing than any human. The average person can hear sounds from 20 to 20,000 hertz, while the elephant can hear sounds of 1 hertz. Even more impressive is the pigeon's hearing capability. It can hear something that measures as low as 0.1 hertz.
As we heard earlier, not all animals are like us, but some of them are different. Like the butterfly tastes with its feet, and the octopus tastes with its tentacles. The earthworm tastes with its whole body, and the snakes, they smell with their tongues. What about the star-nosed mole? They feel with its nose. And of course, as we know about cats, their whiskers help them to feel their way around in the dark. What about the scorpion and grasshopper and crab? They use their hairs on their bodies as feelers. So, not all animals are like us and they use their 5 senses as we use them. But sometimes, some of them are different. If we try to answer these questions, true or false, or didn't mention, or we don't know, or doesn't say. Number 1, eagles can see further than people. True or false? As said in the first part, and some animals have much better vision than us. What about number 2? Bats rely on their hearing ability to find food. True or false? Is it true? Yes. What about number 3? Cats use their noses to feel their way at night. Is it true or false? False. But what they use? They use their whiskers. What about number 4? Butterflies taste their food with their tongues? No, but they use their feet. What about 5? Elephants can hear better than whales? True or false? It's not mentioned in our text. So, from that lesson, we are going to select the new vocab we have to study. Let's go to it. The 5 senses, as we said. I will remind you of them. They are touch, sight, hearing, smell, and taste. That one is eagle. What about falcon? It's a bird with pointed wings and a long tail, which can be trained to hunt other birds and small animals. What next? Bat. What about the octopus? Tentacles. Long thin bars like arms of some sea creatures, which are used as arms catching food or moving. And what is that? Earthworm. And that creature is star-nosed mole. And that scorpion. And the last thing is crab. And this is pigeon. Other vocabulary we have to study: sunshine, the light and heat that come from the sun. What about wind blew? To make air move, the wind was blowing harder every minute. Bird chirp, to make a short high sound. What about dogs bark? To make a loud noise. They hear the dog barking outside. What about the eyesight? The ability to see. Receptor, a nerve ending that reacts to a change to discover the exact size or amount of something. What's the meaning of measure? The meter is the standard unit for measuring length. Let's move to the Superland sheet, page 21. It's underlined question. Number 1. Snakes smell with their, not noses. Their what? Tongues. Number 2. Blind people depend on the sense of with their hands to know things look like. What blind people depend on? Touch. Number 3. Elephants can from great distances using their big ears. What elephants can do? Hear. Number 4. When he was camping, he used to get up early and enjoy the morning sunshine. Number 5. He was again when he heard the birds chirping. Number 6. The dog happily at the sight of its owner. What the dog did? Barked. Number 7. The wind fiercely causing the ship to swing. The wind what? Blew. Myrna patted her cat's fur literally. Soft fur. Number 9. Bats are known to have poor eyesight. Number 10. Our hands and fingers have touch which enable us to feel things. Touch what? Receptors. That's all. Thank you, my dear, for your listening.